eating their breakfast. Told you I fed them. But I ain't seen no mama cat, so just can't stand to see them not eat. So let them get a little size where they start taking care of themselves, and they'll do what little feral cats do, I guess. Go bless somebody else with their presence. All right, so I kind of let on in the little weather video that I did about swapping in some new axles on the Bomber that Clint picked up, and so I've been doing that this morning. But I want to show you these axles, and they're really nice stuff. I don't know where he got them from, but he orders them, they ships them to me, and then bam, I get to do the stuff. But really nice stuff. But I did a little bit of research on them, and I want to show you what I found. Nothing detrimental at all. Quick, easy fixes, and just to prolong their longevity and make sure that you have no issues with them if you decide to do something like this on the trail. So let's take a look. All right, so first and foremost, before I forget, because I am so forgetful on this stuff, here is what he ordered. I'm assuming this came from Amazon, but here's a part number. If I show them to you, if you like them, you can do a little bit of research, see what they, see if it's something that maybe you want to do. Here we are, aluminum axle housings that are going to go under the Bomber. Now, everything that you see here, including the axle skid, the upper on axle servo mount, that's the truss, and this is the servo mount that goes on top of the truss, and all of the hardware, even all the hardware that's on the axle itself, came that way. Now the servo is something that he picked up also, so I'll go over that in just a minute. But the axles are gorgeous. They are aluminum pieces. They have a lot of nice, not overkill, unsprung weight. So that should help keep this thing planted with the little bit of weight that we have in the tires. It should stay planted. And also was the steering link with the servo horn, aluminum servo horn. It's just sitting over there. And that's the back axle, obviously. And it looks like it's something similar to a 10-1 generation, but they're going to fit under this thing just fine with no issues. And this is the front axle. So I've got this one turned around at the moment, but as you can see, a lot of metal steering rods, everything on it. Not just nice. Fit and finish is great. The only thing that I read online was this, and let me turn it over and I'll show you what I've done. Some of the forums that I looked them up on said that you need to open them up because they did not come with enough or any grease. Now all I did was pull the pumpkin cover off, and so this is how it came. And as you can tell, let me try to get this thing in a little better lighting. There's like absolutely minimal grease in there, and it was the same thing on the back axle, but little to no grease. And it had, the back axle had a place in it where it felt like it was binding a little tight. But what I did is I've already taken this one apart and filled it up with grease, put it back together, alleviated that, so there's no dry spots in that thing at all. And then the other thing was that all of the screws, let me grab something here, all of these screws, like here, anywhere there's a screw, it said they recommended that you take them out and hit them with a little bit of thread lock, because there's a place in there for where there's a screw in there for the shock and link mount, obviously on both sides. And just anywhere there was a screw, to take it apart and put a little bit of thread lock on it and run them back in. So this one is already done, and so I'm going to get started on this one, get it full of grease, and we'll start the process of swapping everything over to the Bomber. Now, what's going to happen with all of the running gear from the Bomber? So when we pull all of this out, I'm going to leave everything, the servo and all. Even I don't know if we'll wind up using this servo at all. It's just a mock-up and a test servo. So everything that comes off of this, front axle, rear axle, the links will stay with the truck, but the from stub to stub on the front and the back is going to the Wraith. And Now I won't be showing a whole lot of that today, but that is definitely coming. But I don't want to start two projects when I got this one right in the middle of any hopes of finishing the thing. It's the rear side of the rear axle. You can see the truss for the link mount. Everything's aluminum, but man, it's got a lot. It's nicely weighted. And another thing I like about it is they already have the pumpkin skids on them, which is it's a nice thing to have. I don't know what he paid for these. I have no idea. But I believe they're going to be just fine. Now, when I put this one together and get it hung on the bomber, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to take, or no, I'm not going to put any Loctite on the knuckles out here until I get it on the truck and make sure that they are clocked in the right direction or clocked in the right location to keep my steering, or keep the steering on this thing from either steering downward or steering upward. I think everybody knows what I'm talking about, but I want to keep it as close to center as I possibly can. So I'll do that after I get the axle put under the bomber, and we can make final adjustments, and then we'll take those screws and back them out, put a little bit of thread lock on those, and button that whole deal up. Quick, before I forget, one other really neat feature about these axles, even though they seem to be a 10-1 style axle, is even though this axle came with the on-axle servo mount, they went ahead and put in this stub over here, or this eye over here. So if you're running a chassis mounted servo on your rig, you can still run a Panhard bar and not have to run that pumpkin mounted servo. That's really cool. So if at any time he wants to do a chassis mounted servo or swap these under another rig and do a chassis mounted servo, we can get away from the 4-link and go with a 3-link and a Panhard bar just that quick. So kudos to whoever built these axles. That was a nicely thought out thing to put on them for an axle. That's, the old 10-1 axles were great, but whenever you bought a 10-1 back in the day, when Axial put out the 10 SCX 10, you had to throw all kinds of money at it to get it to steer. You'd have to change the knuckles, the C hubs, and put CVDs in it, and just to get a better steering axle. So steering angle, and you were talking upwards sometimes between $70 to $100, depending on who you bought. And to have all of that here in this package with both axles for the price, what I've seen, I'm not going to disclose it, but what I've seen online was under $100, is a really nice thing to have. So, yeah, looking for good stuff out of this. So I'm going to go ahead and pack this one full and give it a good greasy bath. And in the next video, we will start laying everything under. I just need to finish this up today because it is a little time consuming, but nice stuff, really nice stuff. Oh, and the servo. Let me talk about the servo real quick. Now, this servo, I've never heard of this company. I just said, get something at least 35 kg or above. And so this is what showed up. And from what I understand, it does say right there, it's brushless. Never used them before. I don't think there's going to be any issues, but this servo will be going onto this axle and then going under that truck if I don't pull my hair out in the meantime. And yeah, then all of that goodness goes over there. So I'm a busy little boy today, or in the next few days. Hope you guys are doing well, and stay tuned. A lot more to come, and including some hard body goodness. That's a whole other animal. You guys take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Later.